They believe that, as children, they shared an alien abduction experience. At first, they were fragments of memory. As a child, Claire Holcomb had pastoral visions. Sometimes they were strange. Sometimes they were disturbing. And later on, they became terrifying. She never knew what it meant until she was an adult. In 1987, Claire was looking for a career change. She responded to an ad for full-time help on a horse farm. Her interview with ranch owner Diana Graves was a turning point.
It was sort of, I know this person. And she was very comfortable around the horses. And it was sort of an instant recognition. And I hired her that day.
I felt when I first met Diana that I must have met her somewhere before or seen her somewhere before. I felt that I knew her quite well, but I couldn't explain that.
Claire worked at the ranch for 4 years before she and Diana figured out their connection. It started on a dark country road.
On my way home, fairly early in the evening, it was a warm night for December, I saw lights in the sky I thought were low-flying aircraft. But I wasn't hearing any sounds, engine noises, and was concerned that perhaps the engines had shut down. I pulled over to the side of the road and was blinded by these lights. But I was frozen to the spot. I didn't know what was happening.
Right after her sighting, Claire raced home, feeling sick, scared, and disoriented.
I think both of us thought she was going crazy. Too much stress that, maybe she'd had a blackout. We couldn't explain the missing time. We didn't know what it was at the time.
The first thing that I noticed from that first experience was that my contact lenses appeared to be missing from my eyes. And I certainly had them in when I was driving.
Diana encouraged Claire to try and put the bizarre events behind her. But days later, Claire had another bizarre encounter.
She was reporting to me that she seemed to have seen some strange things. She had memories of this weird hand that she drew.
Sorry.
And for some reason, I knew we needed help. I knew I could no longer handle it.
They got that help through the Fund for UFO Research, an organization that investigates extraterrestrial events and tries to separate fact from fantasy. They felt Claire was exhibiting signs of a classic abduction.
And many of the things she said, while not completely unique, were disturbing things that I had read about before, and I had no reason to think that she was making the thing up or that it was being fabricated in any way.
It was startling to us that anybody could possibly have experienced these things, and we've never heard about it.
The abduction syndrome is essentially this pattern that you do get from collecting data from a large number of people, and it has all of these common features, the fundamental one being missing time, and there are others, the markings, the very strange medical problems that they often develop.
Along with Claire's health problems, Diana noticed that her employee was also seeing some health benefits. Claire's eyesight dramatically improved after her first abduction. Strangely, Diana's health started following the same course.
My eyes had improved dramatically, and I could think of no other rational explanation why my eyesight was also improving, unless I too was being abducted.
Diana wanted to know more and chose hypnotherapy as a way to retrieve her abduction memories. Her first session was traumatic.
And sure enough, the first memory I had was screaming because I had alien eyes right in front of my face, and I couldn't get away from them.
What are they doing to you? What are they doing to you?
Doing something to my head.
You're okay. The way the events occur, I'm very convinced that she has experienced something, and what seems to be happening seems to be really, truly happening to her. She has the marks on her body.
Under hypnosis, Claire was also recalling vivid memories of torture, experimentation, and forced reproduction.
We'd had some severe ice storms, it'd been bitter cold. As is often the case, I was abducted from my bedroom. I had a nightgown on with no shoes. Naturally, I didn't sleep in my shoes. And when I was brought back, they made a mistake, which they sometimes do. And instead of putting me back in the house, they left me outside. When I thought I was going to die, the aliens came back, picked me up, and put me back in the house. in my bedroom. But the next morning, all the skin on the bottom of my feet had been burned off from sticking to the ice.
My conscious memory abductions are very fragmentary. I'll have a little bit of a memory of actually seeing a gray standing beside my bed at night, or being poked in the back. I'll have a memory of seeing either a blue or an orange light fill my room.
The women could not escape the relentless fear that accompanied their abduction experiences. They sought help from world-renowned abduction expert Bud Hopkins.
They were extremely impressive, articulate, obviously filled with a lot of emotion about their experiences. There was a lot of anger, a lot of fear, and I was just extremely impressed with them.
While discussing and comparing their separate abduction memories, Claire and Diana made a dramatic discovery.
We were both in a large room, and scenes were being projected, very disturbing scenes of devastation. We were told to watch it and to learn from it and to understand that these things were happening. We were, in fact, holding each other's hand.
Well, the issue of shared abductions is something we should sort out here. Many, many, many people are abducted with other abductees.
The women probed deeper into their past. Claire recalled a childhood abduction memory that she had shared with a little girl visiting from England.
When I was about 12 years old and had been on a picnic with some friends from school, I moved off by myself to sit on a bench. For some reason, I saw a little girl coming toward me I didn't at the time recognize, and she was wearing a blue uniform. She had some kind of an accent that I thought might be British. Without stopping to think or discuss why we were doing this, we both meandered away from the picnic area into the woods, and were subsequently abducted from that clearing together.
The girl she was describing sounded like me when I was about the same age. And when Claire described to me what this other little English girl was wearing, I then went to the closet and pulled out a jacket that exactly matched her description.
She described to me how she used to dress going to school in England at that time, and I didn't know she'd attended school in England when she was 9 years old.
I was that other child.
We found a pattern that they had been abducted since childhood, separately, brought together, and made to interact as if the aliens were interested in human relationships and human friendships.
I'm completely convinced that they have planned Claire and my meeting since they started, since we were such small children.
I think it's amazing that we met again in this life, in this world, although I can't explain it.
Her coming to this farm 5 years ago was a coincidence. They arranged it, they planned it. I don't know why they planned it. I'm glad we met, but they planned it.
The issue of alien abduction has come under fire lately from mental health professionals who believe abductees are being manipulated through directed therapy and hypnosis. But the number of people who claim an abduction experience is growing, and they're not all going to the same therapists. National statistics indicate that as many as 2 million Americans may have had experiences consistent with an alien abduction.